Hi, my name is Angela. I'm a yoga therapist at MAR Integrative in Mill Valley, California. Today's practice is for fibromyalgia, or really any type of chronic myofascial pain. If you're having a flare-up, this is not going to be a suitable practice. This is more for maintenance of the overall condition. You're going to need a couple of props, so a pillow or blanket or a bolster is all you're going to need. So go ahead and get your props together and meet me on the mat, so let's dive in.
We're going to begin seated. So make sure that you're comfortable. Sit on your blanket or your bolster. And you can either sit cross-legged, letting your weight settle down, or if it's more comfortable, you can sit on your shins with your knees bent, but again, make sure you're supported. So sit on a prop, blanket, bolster, pillow in between your legs. Sit up nice and tall and let your weight settle down. We're going to begin with the Ujjayi breath, and we're going to employ this breath throughout the practice. The Ujjayi breath sounds like the ocean. There's some friction in the back of your throat on the inhale and the exhale. Ujjayi means champion or victorious. So this breath is going to enable you to overcome obstacles by keeping your nervous system calm as we move and stretch the body today. Go ahead and release your arms down, and then you'll take your arms out like goalposts at your side with the elbows at your shoulder height. From there, as you inhale, you'll open up to the sky, and as you exhale, you'll bring your forearms together in front of your body. Inhale to open up to the sky, and exhale, bring your forearms, your palms, your elbows in front of the body. You can round the upper back. Inhale, open up, bring the elbows back behind your shoulders if you can, open the chest. Exhale, coming together, rounding the upper back. Continue with that Ujjayi breath. Mobilizing your upper back, opening across your chest. Go ahead and draw the palms together to your heart and then continue down, stretching out the wrists and the forearms. Inhale, your arms will reach up. Exhale, palms come together in front of the chest and continue down through prayer until the wrists start to peel apart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull the hands down in prayer in front of the heart, palms and the heels of the palms begin to peel apart, stretching open. Inhale, reach up again. This time you can grab your right wrist with your left hand and stretch open through the right side of your body, just leaning over to the left. Nice opening, and then we'll come back through center and switch over to the other side. Opening that left side body. Keep that Ujjayi breath going as you inhale to come back to center. And then we'll take a twist, twisting through your belly, your shoulders, and then turning your head and turning your gaze to look out over your left shoulder. Send your eyes back as far as you can. This helps to calm your nervous system. And then when you're ready to come out of it, you're going to lead with your gaze, your head, your shoulders, and your torso. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, belly, shoulders, head, eyes go into the twist. Really send your gaze far behind you. Continue with that Ujjayi breath. And when you're ready, Lead with your gaze to come out of it. Bring your eyes, and then you can turn your head, your shoulders, and your abdomen come forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart for a moment, and then we will come onto your knees. And we will take your blanket. You're going to lie your blanket across the top half of your mat. You still want it to be thick enough to provide some cushioning for your arms and your shoulders, but you want it to be wide enough to be able to be about as long as your arms. So just lift your arms again in that goalpost. You're going to have your elbows at shoulder height. You can play with adjusting within a few inches higher or lower here, but just about at shoulder height. Of course, if it causes strain, lower it. Then we're going to extend the right arm out. You can use your left arm under your shoulder for support, your left hand under the shoulder for support. We're going to reach through that right arm, and then we're going to peel the hand up off the floor. Just as far as you're able to. Spread through the fingers and reach through that right palm. You can use that Ujjayi breath. With an exhale, lower the hand back to the ground. And you can go ahead and bend the left knee to begin to create a little bit of a twist. You can stay right here. Or if your shoulder feels up for it, you can roll all the way to the right side, lifting the left leg for support. Just getting into the tissues of the shoulder, the inner arm, the front of the chest. To make the stretch more intense, you would raise your arm up towards your head a bit, towards the top of your mat. And if it is too intense and you want to decrease the stretch, you can either come to lie flat on your belly again, or you can bring the hand down lower towards your hip. And you can adjust as needed, but move slowly, gently, and really welcoming that Ujjayi breath in. Go ahead, come back onto your belly, find center again, both arms out. And then the left arm will go out straight to the left side at shoulder height or higher. You turn your head the opposite direction. Again, you can find support with your right hand under the shoulder. And you're going to lift your left fingertips up off the ground, pressing through the heel of your left hand to find length all through the left arm. Ujjayi breath. Go ahead and press into the left arm a little bit. You can lift the right knee up. So you're beginning to get a stretch through the top of the left arm, the left shoulder, the front of the chest. And if you want to go further, you can roll a bit onto your left hip, lifting the right leg up. Wherever is comfortable and nourishing for your tissues today. We don't want to push it. If you're feeling any aggravation or discomfort, back off. There's plenty of medicine just in lying on your belly with the arm extended and your head turned in the opposite direction. We're going for subtle openings here. Subtle enlivening of the tissues, your muscles, your fascia. As you're ready to, we'll roll back to center. Just find center again, elbows down, and then we'll bring your elbows in, close to your body, close to your ribs, as close as you can, and we'll press up into a Sphinx pose. Weight down into your forearms. Your elbows can be forward or they can be back, depending on your desire for intensity of back bend. You can tuck your back toes under and press back through your heels, engaging the backs of your legs and the low back. Press down into your forearms a bit and then release. Lower your head to the ground, palms face up by your sides. On your next inhale, you're just going to lift, finding a similar shape through your thoracic spine, your upper back, but this time you're engaged with the muscles. Exhale, you can lower back down. You don't have to go very high. The lift could just be energetic. Your head might stay on the ground, your chest might stay on the ground. Just moving with what feels doable, and again, non-aggravating for your body today. Finding the Ujjayi breath as you lift or intend to lift. Exhale as you lower back down and release. The next time you're down, you're going to bring your palms together, finding a bit of a clasp at your back if it's accessible. And then inhale, we'll push back into the palms and lift up. If the clasp is not feeling accessible or comfortable today, just keep pressing back through straight arms. We're going to hold for a moment and then release down. Bring your palms under your shoulders. And you're going to lift up onto your shins. So you're going to come into a child's pose. Your knees are hips width apart. And you reach back for the child's pose here. You want to keep your legs parallel today. Sometimes we'll have the feet together and the knees out wide, but we want the legs to be parallel. They can be the width of your rib cage, but definitely don't have the ankles moving towards each other. We're looking for that secure alignment through the hips. Just a couple breaths here, letting your weight continue to settle in between your feet. Your back can be round, your arms reaching. And then we'll walk the hands back, the upper body, the middle body, nice and open. We're going to move towards the legs. So you might want to prop, if there's any strain or tension in your knees, you might want to put your blanket in between your thighs and your calves. And that's going to give a little extra support for your knees here. And you can roll it as thick as needs be. And you're also going to get the extra benefit of some pressure against the calves, if that feels okay. If not, just sit on a pillow or your bolster blanket without it being on your calves. And then if it feels okay, you're going to walk your hands back to stretch out the thighs. Whatever version you're in. No need for the blanket if there's no tension in the knees. You can lean back a little bit. You can lean back onto a pillow, bolster, couch, whatever have you. Or maybe if your thighs are feeling up for it, you might want to lean back onto a support or maybe even the ground. Inviting that Ujjayi breath, whatever version you're in, comfortably is where you want to be. Comfortably means you're just feeling the edge of a stretch, just a little bit of a stretch, but there's no pain. On your next inhale, rise back up. Take your blanket onto your yoga mat right in front of you, and you want it to be a little more narrow now. You want your hands and knees to be able to fit around it. And then you're going to lift into a version of down dog with the knees really bent and your belly moving back towards your thighs. Support through your arms, spread all 10 fingers wide and press into your 10 fingers as you bend your knees deeply, bringing your belly towards your thighs. Nice and open through the upper back after the beginning of this practice. Just find firmness through your hands, your arms, and then shift. You're going to lower your knees down, and you're going to take your left foot forward to the top of your mat. You can keep your hands down here, or you can lift them up to your thigh. You're going to keep your back leg engaged, so press down into the top of the back foot, or you can tuck your back toes under for a little extra support for the back leg. Maybe if you're feeling up for it, you might lift your arms up above your head. Again, the upper back nice and open from the beginning of practice, and now we're moving into the hips and the legs. Ujjayi breath, always moving through so that your body stays calm despite the effort. We're going to straighten out the front leg, so you can either lower your hands down and then send the hips back, or you can just lean the hips back, straighten out the leg, and then come to fold over it. Maybe it doesn't feel good to fold over the leg today, and that's totally fine. You can just keep the leg straight out in front of you and your torso lifted. If it feels good with the hands down, you can put them on either side of the leg. And the closer your hands are to your right leg, so the supporting leg, the less intense. And if you want to go deeper, if your hamstrings are feeling open, you can walk the hands forward still. Now, the left toes can be pointed, flexed, or somewhere in between. You can explore that and see what feels good for your leg today. It's going to change the stretch. With your next inhale, bend the front knee, bring that foot back. We're going to go to the other side. So that right leg's going to come forward, and you're going to lift into the lunge. If it feels good, you can also keep your hands down on the ground. Or maybe your hands can come up to the thigh. Maybe they come in front of your heart. Or maybe they lift up towards the sky. Finding whatever is working for your body today. Again, you can tuck the back toes under if that feels supportive, or you can press into the top of the back foot. We're finding this active lengthening of that left thigh, front of the left hip, engaged through both thighs here, and lifting through the torso. Ujjayi breath. Inviting peace into the effort with that victorious breath. We're going to come to straighten the right leg again, so you can either lower your hands and straighten back, or you can go straight back with your hands still on your thigh or lifted up. And then come forward if it feels good. You can stay lifted, or if you're looking for more, you can lower your hands down. Also know that both sides are going to be different. You might do something different on your right side than you did on your left side. Again, walking hands forward intensifies the stretch. Bringing them back eases off. Again, exploring the stretch, pointing or flexing the toes. Notice as you point the toes, the stretch tends to move into the hamstring a bit more. Maybe you can lean a little more forward or bring your arms more forward. And as you flex the foot, it's going to move deep into the connective tissue throughout the whole leg, or move into the calf. You might even feel it in your hip or your low back. So that is yours for exploring where you want the stretch and the action to be in this pose. That subtle movement of changing the relationship between your foot and your leg makes such a difference. Ujjayi breath. And then we're going to come out of it, bending the front knee. You can either slide the foot back, or you can come up and then bring the foot back. Go ahead and fold your blanket up. You're going to set it to the side for the moment, keeping both of your props within reach. And then you're going to come to lie on your back. So bring your legs out in front of you, find the center of your mat, and roll down slowly, or come in any way that's working for you today. Take a moment to adjust your hips, make sure they feel level, make sure your shoulders feel broad and supportive on the mat. You're going to bring your feet just about a foot or so away from your hips. And then you're going to invite that Ujjayi breath to grow. And as you inhale, you're going to feel an arch in your low back lifting up off the ground, and you're going to encourage that. So you can tip your pelvis so your tailbone begins to point towards the ground. And as you exhale, you're going to press your back flat against the earth. You're going to tip your pelvis so your tailbone begins to reach towards the sky slightly. With the inhale, you're going to rock across your sacrum, tailbone pointing towards the ground. Exhale, you're going to press your abdomen and your low back flat against the ground. Moving with your breath. Just rolling across your sacrum with every inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, you're going to follow the tilt of your pelvis and lift the hips up off the ground, coming into a bridge pose. And then you're welcome to bring any props. You can bring a folded blanket and come to a nice low bridge pose. Or you can bring your bolster or pillows, coming to a slightly higher supported bridge pose. And just resting there, letting this inversion at whatever level it is. It can be high, it can be super low. Just letting it change the currents flowing within your body. Helping to shift things, shake them up a little bit. And if you're feeling like you want a little more activity here, you can remove any props from underneath you and just come into a standard bridge pose. Maybe you even want to lift up and put your hands under your sacrum and your hips for support. Wherever you are, Ujjayi breath. This breath helping to keep calm through the tissues as they're engaged. It can help with inflammation and agitation. And this breath can be used off the mat too, just throughout the day as we need it. If things feel difficult, if the body is achy, you can invite this breath in to help soften and restore through the nervous system, the brain. The victorious breath. Just take a couple more breaths here. Letting your body soften in the shape before we begin to come out of it. And to come out, you just lift up a little bit, remove any props that are underneath you, and then lower all the way down. Release your legs down, your arms down. You're going to rock your toes towards each other and away a few times once you find Shavasana. And this helps broaden your sacrum. For support underneath you, you can tuck your shoulders under and just rest here for a few moments. Breathing that Ujjayi breath, feeling the breath moving through your body, maybe noticing any changes in the currents within your body as we've opened and warmed and cooled and changed the flow of energy throughout the body. Rest here as long as you'd like. Namaste.